Hey, I wanted to share with you guys a quick message from my journal that I wrote today. It's something that I have been thinking about and pondering, a verse that the Lord showed me recently. And I keep writing it down. Like I look back in my journal and I keep writing this verse down. And it's in Psalm 45:10 in the Passion Translation, which I have been using a lot lately. And I title this little message in my journal, from my journal, Becoming Unfamiliar with the Familiar. And I felt like somebody needed to hear this because so many of us deal with these things, and I felt like what God is saying in this verse is such a clear direction. And so I'll read that to you, and I'm going to be looking at my journal quite a bit because I'm going to reference from it. So the verse says, "Now listen, daughter," and of course listen, sons. "Pay attention and forget about your past. Put behind you every attachment to the familiar." When I read that verse, I felt led to focus on the word familiar. And there are good things in life that are familiar, like good sounds and smells that bring up good memories. And that's really good, and that's not what I think they're talking about here. I believe in this case, what God is talking about are the things that tend to become familiar in our lives that aren't good, like fear and anxiety and bad habits, nagging thoughts and patterns of thinking, or lies of the enemy. You get used to it. You get used to kind of functioning in those things. And God is saying clearly, put behind you every attachment to these things so you can move forward in freedom. He's giving us clear direction and permission to become unfamiliar with what has been familiar in your life, to put those things behind you and move forward in victory and freedom. And he doesn't just give you permission, he also gives us his word, and he gives us personal strategies. When you're walking in an intimate relationship with God, you're not just reading his word, you're also hearing his voice. And so you're getting a clear strategy on how to go about putting behind you the attachment to those things. And so I just wanted to encourage you with that you have permission to put behind you every attachment to what has been familiar to you in your life. And you can be free from those familiar things that have weighed you down by the faithful power and help of the Lord. You can then become familiar with God's truth, joy, peace, well-being, good habits, hope, tranquility of heart and mind, trust, healing and wholeness, etc. Like anything you can imagine, you can become familiar with. You can trade the familiar things that have weighed you down and become unfamiliar with that stuff and become familiar with the goodness of God in your life. It's so possible because with God, all things are possible. So I hope that encouraged you. Thank you for giving me a couple minutes to share that with you while my daughter takes a nap and I have the house quiet for a little bit. So I bless you in Jesus' name and hope you have a great day. Bye.